Namaste friends, welcome to my channel. And in this today's discussion, let's take a management topic and also related to our area of specialization. If you look at the industry today, you get certain companies which are having no problems, no issues, no labor issues, no labor disputes. Even if they have 1,000 employees, 2,000 employees, so they have no labor issues or there are no manpower issues. And there are certain companies which have got into trade unions, labor issues, labor disputes, and struggling. So you see these two kinds of companies are also existing in the market today, and they are running business. Certain companies are running very good, and certain companies are not running so good. So they are struggling with all these issues. And also look at today's situation because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The companies have certain manpower, and they are not able to curtail the manpower cost. They are getting into legal issues, retrenchment, layoff, termination, whatever it is, and they have a lot of issues. They can't easily dispense the manpower. So to avoid all these problems, what the employer could have done, see, if you carefully scan the industry, you find certain patterns. See, for example, I also had the opportunity to work for certain companies where they had no disputes, no labor union, and no unrest. These were not there. And if you look at these kind of companies, one of the key important factor which comes to our mind is the manpower mix, or I call it as ideal manpower mix. Today you get different resources. As an employer, how are you going to use this? What is the mix you are going to have? Suppose today you have certain level of business and tomorrow it dips. How are you going to align your manpower? So if you don't have this flexibility in aligning your manpower, then the employer gets stuck. And look at how the employer grows. When he starts his employer, when he gets in his idea, when he starts, then he doesn't think all these things because he may not have the expertise of these kind of issues. So he will look into cheaper labor and who are not scalable, and he employs, and the mistakes which he makes at this point of time grows along with the business also, and then they will also become a reason for his fall in the future. So if the employer doesn't think in this sense, at least doesn't get experience or expertise from the people, then these kind of problems grows in the future. As I said, key to all these issues, I would say it is the manpower mix. I would call it as an ideal manpower mix. What kind of manpower mix you are going to have in the business, so that you can align when you have a different situation. For example, you have very good business situation, you can scale up, and you don't have the orders, so you should also be possible to align the quantity of the manpower. So if you don't have this kind of thinking, then you get stuck. So that is why, as I said, in the today's circumstances, you get different kinds of manpower, so with different kinds of resources. But I'm not saying that these resources are come with only advantages. These resources also comes with disadvantages. So as an employer, as a manager, you have to look into all these advantages and disadvantages and make your own manpower mix. So let's see what are the different resources we have today. So you get certain kind of workers whom we call as regular workers. These people are basically on the rolls of your company. And blue collar workers, or these are skilled, unskilled, these kind of people. So they can also anytime they can make their union, because the constitution has given the right to form a union. So they can also be unionized, and if you manage well, you may not have the union also. So you get after once you recruit these people, they can be unionized and they can also be non-unionized. Now there is another kind of workforce which is called as operating staff or operating engineers. See, these are the special kind of people which the some of the smart employers are utilizing this opportunity. Instead of recruiting a low qualified employee, they recruit people who are with graduates or diploma or engineers, and they will also utilize for the production purposes. Of course, it comes with certain disadvantages. We will also get into these things. And they are more educated and more matured, of course. And now you get trainees. In the trainees, you can see the three kinds of trainees. One is you can have the trainees on the roll of the company. You can also today there is a scheme called NEEM scheme. You can also have NEEM trainees, and of course there is apprentices under Apprentices Act 1961. You can also have these kind of trainees. However, you can't run your industry only with trainees. So we will come back to this issue also. Now you also have a possibility to have contractor or contract employees or outsourced employees. So in this you get two kinds of methods. One is a job contract, and in this job contract you outsource the entire work to the contractor, whereas in manpower contract you hire the resources or the manpower. So this is the difference, you can make it out. Now, does these kind of resources come with only advantage? As I said, each manpower mix or category comes with its own advantages and disadvantages. So if you look at regular workers, these people's costs are going to increase because they become skillful and they are company employees. Then they expect the annual increment. These are all things going to happen. So that is why the cost is going to increase, and their dependency on employment is huge. So they depend on this employment, and they may not always upgrade their skill. Of course, as I said, the Constitution gives the right to form a union, and they can form a union, and the labor disputes and union movements may start. So these are all going to cost the employer. I'm not saying that this type of category has got only disadvantages. It has got also the advantages. The advantages: you get a loyalty, you get a consistency, you get a skillful and quality oriented, and they may not need much supervision. You can scale up their output. These are all there. So you will have to look into these dynamics and parameters when you have how many people you're going to have, what is the mix you're going to have. Then you have, as I said, the operating staff. So in that operating staff also, or the operating engineers, it's not that they come with advantages. The disadvantages are, so they may not stick to you. The attrition may be high, and they do not come cheap. They are expensive because they are graduates or diploma holders or engineers. So they are quite expensive, and sometimes they may not be inclined towards operating jobs. But if you give certain power and also motivate them properly, you can also utilize for the operating tasks. So you have to mix with supervisory, quality oriented jobs, and also certain kind of operating tasks. So they will be able to be a good resource. Now the advantages of this kind of resource is they may not need much supervision because they are either qualified, educated, they understand. So you don't need much supervision, and you can very well mold them for higher jobs, whereas it's not possible in the low qualified workers. So, and also they may not be inclined to raise a dispute because because of the qualification and their maturity levels, they easily find a jobs. So that is why they don't get into disputes. So it's easy for you to manage them. So this is the kind of operating staff you can talk about it. Then the trainees, because if they are for the training, and if they get a job, they are tend to leave. So forget about the training. So they go and join the employment. And it is very short term, so you can't keep them very long time and continue to have the production. They are not skillful. You have to give them the skill, you have to train them, and more supervision is required, and quality issues will crop up. So these are the things which normally you have a disadvantage with the trainees. You can't run your business only with the trainees because there are certain restrictions, and even in the Apprentice Act you can't have 100% manpower as trainees. And there is also a Supreme Court guideline which talks about what percentage of manpower you can have your trainees. So therefore don't think that you can only operate your business with the trainees or contract resources. Each category comes with its own advantages and disadvantages. Therefore you have to be very careful while choosing this manpower. Now the advantages of this trainees is of course this, if you have a proper training scheme and you have you have hired them for on-the-job training and with the proper documentation, so there are no chances of disputes. And of course they can't make a union and make a labor dispute out of it unless you are doing something illegal. And of course they come with less expensive also. So that is why you have to also look into your business model and choose what kind of percentage of people, trainees, you are going to have. And the last category of resources is contract or outsourced employees. They also come with certain disadvantages. Now because of the contract nature of the work, there is no loyalty, of course, then there is no consistency, and quality, you always have to look into these issues. There is a quality cost and supervision is required. Even if you don't supervise, then the contract supervisor also has to supervise their work. And there may be a legal problems, because if you do not have the contract properly, you have not registered, you have not got, the contractor has not got the license, these are all the legal repercussions you will have. So therefore this comes also with the legal issues. And of course, the contract labor also comes with attrition. You will have a lot of attrition, so they'll leave and go. If they get a permanent job, they'll leave and go. So that is why you have to keep this also in mind. And of course, the contract labor is less expensive, and maybe less disputes and less chances of making union. I'm not saying this they can't make a union, because today anybody, even the contract laborers, can make a union, and we have seen in the market that the contract laborers are also getting unionized. So it cannot be qualified like that, but there are less chances of labor disputes and labor union related issues. So that is why I've told you these four categories of resources you have, and based on your business model, you have to have everyone, you have to have these kind of resources and have a proper mix. So if you have a proper mix in the difficult times, also in the greener pasture times, so you can align this or the scale up. So for example, if you take trainees, they are short term. They as soon as their training gets completed, they'll they complete the training and go. You can accordingly align. And if you look at operating staff, you also have certain kind of attrition, so they also leave and go. You can recruit and you can also grow them. These are all there. And contract resources, you can if you have a proper contract, you can replace them, you can align the properly. These are all possible. Whereas in the regular workforce, it's not easy for you. If you they are covered under section 2S of the Industrial Dispute Act, it's not easy for you to easily cut them or align to your quantity of business. So it's not possible. So that is why, considering your business volume, you should arrive at your own manpower mix, so that in the difficult times, whenever you need, you can actually align your manpower quantity to your business. So let's see what could be the manpower mix for a productive company or a manufacturing company kind of a thing. This could be your ideal manpower mix, but however, this may not be going to work for every industry. So this is only a suggested manpower mix you can have. However, considering your business type or business nature, you have to come up with your own manpower mix and then align accordingly. Today I talked about a management topic, which is called as ideal manpower mix, and it's not that I'm telling you without having done a research on this. I work for a couple of companies where they have really implemented this kind of manpower mix and running their business without any issues. And there are industries where they have certain kind of manpower mix where they are able to manage their business without having any problems. So these kind of workforce models or manpower mix is not researched extensively. So people have to research this extensively and then brainstorm with these kind of employers and align their manpower mix to their business. Thank you very much, friends. So far you have listened to me, heard me on ideal manpower mix. Hope this will help the employers and managers in the future. And thank you very much for watching my channel. Please do subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Share it to as many people as you want, and don't forget to also like and comment in the channel. Thank you very much, friends, and see you soon.